Have you ever stopped to think about how we actually learn to see the world? I mean, it feels so automatic, right? We just see. But for a little kid, learning to make sense of all the shapes, sizes, and colors out there is a huge, huge task. Today, we're going to dive into the truly brilliant Montessori method for training the visual sense. Seriously, just try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. How does a young mind even begin to organize that endless flood of visual stuff it's getting every single moment? It's one of the most fundamental questions of how we develop. And without some kind of system, all of that is just noise. It's a random jumble of light and color and form. So the real challenge is to find the patterns, to create order where there isn't any. And this is exactly where the Montessori approach is so effective. So how do you do it? How do you bring that order from the chaos? Well, the idea is to systematically train the senses. The Montessori method lays out this really structured, hands-on path for a child to build their own mental framework for understanding what they see. And this quote from Maria Montessori herself, it really gets to the absolute heart of it. It's not just about seeing, it's about observing. It's about turning passive sight into this active intellectual process. She believed that when you refine the senses, you sharpen the mind itself. So the goal here is super clear. We're not just talking about learning the names for colors and shapes. This training helps a child learn to tell the difference between things, to classify them, and, this is the big one, to develop that deep, focused concentration that is the bedrock of pretty much all future learning, whether it's math, art, or anything else. Okay, so that's the theory, but what does it look like in practice? Well, it becomes real through these beautiful, incredibly specific materials, all designed to teach the core concepts of dimension and form. Now, the absolute genius here is one simple idea: isolation. Instead of throwing a bunch of different variables at a child all at once, each material isolates a single concept. This lets the child's mind focus completely on understanding one quality at a time, like length, or thickness, or volume. It's so clever. First up, you've got the iconic pink tower. Now, when a child is stacking these 10 cubes, from the biggest to the smallest, they're not just playing. They are physically experiencing and visually absorbing the whole concept of three-dimensional size. They can feel the weight change and see that clear progression. Then you've got the brown stairs. With this one, the length of every piece is exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the thickness. This really helps a child to clearly perceive that specific quality of thick and thin, building on what they learned from the tower. And to round out this amazing trio, we have the red rods. So now, the thickness is the same on all of them, and only one thing changes: the length. By lining these up, a child develops this really concrete physical understanding of what long and short actually mean. All right, so once the mind starts to get a handle on dimension and form, what's next? Color. And you better believe the Montessori method has a carefully structured system for helping a child decode this vibrant part of their world, too. The color tablets are a perfect example of this structured learning. The child starts off simple, just matching the primary colors. Then they level up to a much wider palette, and finally, they get to this really sophisticated task of grading shades from darkest to lightest. This literally trains the eye to see the most subtle differences in color. So, we've got all these hands-on activities, right? Stacking blocks, arranging rods, matching colors. But what is really happening here? This is where we connect all that physical work to the incredible impact it has on a developing mind. To you or me, watching from the outside, it might just look like a kid playing quietly. But for that child, this is intense, focused work. They are literally building the architecture of their intellect, piece by piece, creating the mental categories they need for the world around them. And let's be super clear about this. This isn't just play. Every single time a child correctly builds that pink tower or grades the color tablets, they are forging and strengthening pathways in their brain. They're building the neurological foundation for all future abstract thought. It's incredible. And this is where you see the long-term payoff. It's huge. The child who masters the red rods already has this intuitive physical sense of measurement before they even see a ruler. The child working with geometric solids is getting ready for geometry. This early sensory training pays off for a lifetime. So let's just end on this thought. We usually think of subjects like math as being purely abstract, right? Just numbers on a page. But what if the strongest foundation for that kind of thinking isn't built on memorizing numbers at all, but on first learning how to truly see, organize, and understand the physical world?